because you get zapped all the time. But
Oh, for sure.
It was terrifying. I honestly, I felt it go up my arm, and in a second, I thought my heart was gonna stop.
No, it's the weirdest thing. I electrocute myself so much. I know it's such an odd thing to say, but I don't know
How?
I always have
run at plugs and put forks in
I was thinking
them?
hair straighteners and stuff.
Yes.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Sometimes, but it's usually like plugging, you know, when it's dark and you're like, fuck, I have to like plug my phone in like underneath the bed, and I never really look, so I have my hand, like my finger partially on the metal, and I like plug it in.
That is terrible.
And you get zapped.
I love those memes when you see like people like when it's pitch black trying to plug in their charger. It's just like a guy just trying to stab something.
It's the
Yeah.
worst. That's super annoying.
Have you been to Mykonos?
I have been to Mykonos.
Yeah.
I had to think about that for a while because we did a couple of islands, but yeah, we went to Mykonos. It was amazing.
What was a couple islands? Other Greek islands?
Yes, we went to Eos and we went to Santorini. But I was with my sisters, so it wasn't very romantic. There was a lot of fighting. I'm the middle child, so I'm usually the one who keeps everything.
When did you guys go?
2016.
2016. Okay. How many of you were? Do you have two sisters?
I have two sisters,
sisters?
two stepsisters, but they're like, it's been since we were super, super young. So like they're like my blood basically at this point. And then our cousin. So we were 4 girls just like tearing up the island.
Oh, wow.
And we were on Eos. And I remember one night, because we did not do our research, and we went like right before peak season, so the island was dead, but it was all the locals, so it was actually more of a fun party. It was less crowded, but that meant there were no cabs.
No, I think there's just no cabs in general.
Yeah.
On the islands.
When were you there?
In May, like right before the season
before.
started, and we were wasted because there's this trend where like, have you guys ever been in the bar and they're like, okay, you're gonna spin around with this helmet on, and we're gonna whack you over the
with
head.
the helmet. Yeah, they do that in a couple bars in Greece.
Yeah.
George is like a
I
big
am
Greek guy. Like
I've been
big
yes,
Greek
many-
guy.
I'm Greek. I'm a big Greek guy. I am Greek.
I am the
Goes to
Greek
Greece.
guy.
Goes to Greece every summer.
Yeah, I mean,
Months at a time. No, not months. Well, weeks at a time for sure.
yeah. But
Yeah.
I'm Greek. I'm not a big Greek guy.
Well, yeah, you.
I'm literally a big Greek guy. I guess that makes sense. Sorry. But yeah, was it Santorini or when they spun you around and whacked you? Or
No, it was in Eos.
Eos, yeah.
And so we loved it, and we did it over and over and over and over again. And we could not get a cab at the end of the night, and we decided that it would be very safe to scale down the mountain back to our hotel. And there's
Terrible idea.
Your parents are listening to this. Like, I can't believe we let our daughters.
oh,
go
we
there.
waited years to tell them.
Yeah, good call.
Like just enough time had passed, and they were like, we can't. We're so happy you guys are alive. We're so happy.
Not to get like that. Yeah, that's honestly good, like touch wood. Good you guys made it out of there. But like, I don't want to get morbid, but that's one of the things that it's one of the downsides of like Greece, and like I don't know about like how publicized it is out here, but like when you're as a Greek, you obviously like I hear things through family and friends or whatever, and like. People do some like irresponsible shit in the Greek islands, driving Vespas, like
the
leaving the
ATVs.
bar,
Yeah.
no helmets, hammered, like it. And I hate to say it, like bad things happen more often than not.
Yeah.
It's risky out there. Like
Lots of toys and lots of drinks. It's just a recipe for disaster sometimes.
And like in fairness, when you're on vacation, like it's people view. I don't think it's just Greece. I think it's probably like Mexico or like. There's probably a lot of islands in the world, Portugal in the south, like it, people, I think just you're on vacation, you're living very freely. You don't see cops and ride everywhere. So like, you don't really think about the consequences of actions.
Totally.
It's like the risk reward on that is just out to lunch,
Yeah.
but everybody still does it.
Totally.
Like the risk, you could potentially die. The reward, you get home.
Like it's one rule.
And it's like, oh my God, like we're going to do this because we need to. It's like, hey, you're better off just like walking at that point.
Yeah.
We're just waiting for an hour. Like
we've like, to Ricky's earlier point, I go to Greece almost every summer. Actually, basically, let's say every summer since I was born. And I've obviously gone down with a lot of friends, and we actually just went this summer. We did Paros, Mykonos, Barcelona, Ibiza. We went with it was like 10 of us,
10 of us.
basically.
Wow.
And I've done Ricky and I, we've known each other for a very long time. We've done this trip actually a handful of times in the past. With Greece and all that stuff, and there was one rule that I've always had, and I've had it from when I really started going with friends. It was kind of bestowed upon me from like my older cousins, and so what the rule is if you come with me to Greece, I'll plan everything. I'll make sure don't have to stress about anything, but you cannot drive an ATV, you cannot drive a Vespa, you cannot drive a vehicle. Like we'll arrange drivers and cars and this and that, but like I do not allow it. And
Smart.
Like there was a trip we had too that I actually had this rule and someone didn't listen, and sure enough, that someone drove an ATV into a wall. Fortunately, it wasn't at high speeds and it was in
Oh my gosh.
the property, but this is why this rule is in place. So I guess the moral of the story is if you go back to Greece, call me and I'll give you some advice. But yeah,
Let
just
me
make
know.
sure never drive with it.
It's a good rule of thumb.
Yeah.
Oh
And no
my
scaling
gosh.
mountains, obviously.
Nope.
Yeah. But here's enough of the morbid
Yeah,
side of
let's-
Greece. There's a lot of fun stuff we can talk about. I feel like I'm telling everyone's gonna.
Well, no.
say-
Before we go off, let's talk about the single so we can do this. Obviously, Ty's here. We got to talk about it. The single is Whitney.
Yes.
It released
Last Friday.
the date because this would be releasing.
Okay, so it got released last Friday, October
There we go.
7th. It was a song that I wrote back in 2017, and I was, still living in Montreal, working a regular 9 to 5.
shortly after Mykonos.
Shortly after Mykonos,
Wait, what was your 9 to 5?
I have had many weird and wonderful jobs. I used to work for an online men's magazine, Ask Ben. And after that job, I ended up writing scripts for porn. And then
Okay.
I ended up...
Let's get to the single because we gotta keep
wait,
track of this.
We can't just go jump back. We're gonna get there. Hold on. You gotta we're asking questions this now. Okay. You wrote scripts for porn?
Yes.
It's gotta be the easiest job.
Hold on a second.
Yes and
This
no.
is like, what the heck?
So
This is honestly that's definitely weird and wonderful, but like I've never heard.
It's easy. Oh my god, my light it went out. I need an electrician to come in.
don't discount our work.
Oh,
We wrote like
no,
Oscar-winning
no.
scripts. How do you know that?
But 100%, it's really fun for the first 4 weeks, and you're just like, oh my god, I have to go to work today and figure out how I'm gonna make these people have sex. This is it becomes impossible. The well runs dry real quick. But I ended up falling into this job. I had no idea that I was gonna end up working in this job because so Ask Men was the online men's magazine that I used to work for. It was
I know Aspen. I thought you said Aspen before.
oh no, not Ask Men.
Yeah, Aspen.
No.
Yeah.
I thought it was Ask Ben. I was like, oh
No,
okay.
who's Ben?
Aspen. Yes, it's a website.
Yeah. So they used to have a video production office in Montreal, and then they decided to close that down. And it was right before the holidays. So I was like, fuck, I need to find a job. And so I was just mass applying for jobs on Monster and Indeed. And then I saw this one job posting for an IT firm. And I was like, great, I could do boring copyright for this IT firm. And they were the first people to call me back. And you know how the beginning of every interview, it's really just about you and your work experience. And so I go off on my tangent for 20 minutes. And I'm like, so what about you guys? Because their description was the most vague there was no way their logo wasn't a light bulb.
I literally was just gonna ask, how do you advertise for a porn writing job?
You
actually
don't.
lie.
You don't
But
until
like-
people get into the interview and they're like, P.S. You're writing porn scripts. Is that okay? And I'm like, well,
I need the job.
yeah. And I'm like, it's anonymous. It's funny. I bet I'm going to meet a bunch of really weird and funny people.
Interesting, yeah.
Interesting people. And that's exactly what it was.
That is very fascinating.
Yeah.
Do you know what this
I don't know if
reminds?
I know anyone that works in this. Actually, that's all I know. One person that works kind of in this industry, a friend, one of our frat brothers.
Oh, really?
He doesn't not in it.
Well, okay,
I think he works with a company that is involved in that space.
I was when she
Yeah.
said that, I was like, remember David Caller when he came in? He's like, I worked a whole bunch of oddball jobs. At one point I was like a gas attendant. That's what I was kind of imagining you were gonna say.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say something like
I worked
in
at
a grocery store
Lululemon.
back of house.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what was the company called? Are you?
I don't know if I'm allowed to say it
Okay,
because
fair
they're
enough,
they're a
yeah,
really
sorry.
wealthy company, and I'm not rich enough. If they were to ever take me to court, my God, it would be the end of me for years.
Did you ever write any?
I'm not gonna say it on here. I'm gonna guess that. Because I'm trying to think. Anyways, doesn't matter.
Did you ever do you get to watch your own porns that you
have
wrote?
to.
Oh, you have to.
Yeah, because you go.
Were you there when they're like?
yeah, I
are you-
wanna
No.
You're not okay.
No, you are not there by any means. So you basically just write the scripts and you send it off, and that's the last you hear of it for a long time. But we would get them back, and we would have to it's funny. It was honestly, to their defense, it was the most professional environment I've ever worked in, because you have to be in that because it's everybody in suits. If you were to walk into the office and not see the computer screens, you'd think it was like I don't know, a law firm, because everybody was just in suit and tie and very professional, hey Bob, good morning, and literally you would not know. And but every Friday we would have to go in and we would get material back, and we would have to see if the producers were doing a good job, because it was outsourced to Europe LA. And so when they were taking new producers on board, they'd have to do like quality control. And you'd have to be like, is this my script? Is it not? And like a lot of the time it would not be. And so it was really funny.
This is amazing.
Thank you.
I was not expecting.
Yeah.
Do you know how we say, or maybe George doesn't even say it, I say it all the time when I'm giving people like the rundown of the podcast. I'm like, yeah, we want people to see a different side of, you know, our guests that you can't just Google. That is something that I highly doubt people can Google about you.
Definitely not.
It might end up on your Wikipedia after this episode.
Maybe. Yeah.
I'm gonna edit it. I'm gonna put it in there.
That's okay. This is the one question I have in mind. When you're writing a script, like, how much is scripted and how much is not?
It depends on like how creative the actor is, because like they're supposed to stick to the script. Because like I was working for 2 pay sites for like very cinematic stuff, so there was like a 10-minute dialogue that I had to write before they got to the action. And so I would incorporate like all of these like really funny jokes and like these like witty lines, and I would be so excited to see them execute, and they would just like absolutely butcher it or like go off script sometimes. And I'm like, that's not what
I have so many questions right now. I'm like giggling like a little kid.
Did you do research? Like after you wrote these scripts and you knew that one got picked up, I don't know what the term is. I guess like someone picks up your script and uses it. Do you then like, they tell you that it's been used, do you like go and do like a post, I guess, like a post-mortem, so to speak, where you go back and review your work and see how you can get better next time? Or
no, I just like mailed it in, because for me it was just a clock in clock out kind of thing, because I was doing like music is my thing. Like it was just something that
just to pay the bills,
literally to pay the bills, like for 6 months of my life. But you know what's funny, actually, I quit my job because you said before Greece, I literally quit my job at this company while I was in Mykonos. I was like, I can't come in today. I'm very ill. Like,
it's like that meme. It's like the memes you see now. It's like when you're working at home and your boss asks for an interview. The guy's got his neck pillow on the airplane.
Yeah, that was me. But I was on a beach and I was like, I'm done.
So you wrote Whitney shortly after. If you're in Mykonos and you quit writing porn,
yeah,
you wrote Whitney very short after, because it was 2016 summer, 2017.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was probably in some other 9 to 5 after. Yeah, perfect little circle back there. Love that.
About time this guy's done something. Eh? 200 episodes in, first time he brings it back.
What are you talking about?
I'm teasing.
Sorry.
I love it. So shortly after that, I wrote Whitney, and I was probably in some other job that I forget, maybe bartending. And I would come home from my job and just write songs in my room like I always did, and dreaming about, like, the whole song is about, it's an ode to my idols, like my childhood idols, like Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson, Marilyn Monroe. And it was a song that just expressed my love for them and how much I admired them, and how one day I could hopefully make people feel as a performer an ounce of like what they made me feel watching them when I grew up. And so I wrote that song about them.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this one just sat in the vault for 5 years.
It did sat in the vault. It did sit.
Okay.
It sat in the vault for 5 years because it interpolates "I'm Every Woman" in the chorus. And so when you have an interpolation or a sample, you have to go to the original writers of the song, and ask them if you can use it. And they can either say yes or no, and then they decide how much of the publishing that they want to take. And so the writers of "I'm Every Woman," even though it was sang by Shaka Khan and then resung by Whitney Houston, were Ashford and Simpson, and they were the same writers who wrote "Ain't No Mountain High Enough," and they were a couple power songwriters. And when we were trying to get this sample cleared, it was pretty difficult because one of them unfortunately had passed away. So going back and forth with their estate took years.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
5 years.
Yeah, not 5, but there was a bunch of other stuff after that. And so in 2020, we finally got it cleared. And we were like, okay, let's go. And so I wasn't signed at the time, and I was shopping that song to labels, and nobody wanted to sign me at the time because I had no followers on TikTok. TikTok was like starting to become a thing, and like on Instagram. And then finally, Universal Music Canada heard my stuff with 31 East, and they were like, yeah, like, it's a monster. We want to take a chance on you. And here we are.
Wow. I love that.
Thanks.
That was good.
Thank you.
I want to, because one of the lines in the song is "fuck like Marilyn Monroe."
Yeah.
I was so curious. I'm assuming your family's obviously supports you and what you're doing. When they hear the line like that, do your parents are they like supportive because it kind of works with the song? Are they like, oh, really? Your real name's Were you allowed to say your real name?
Yeah.
Brianna, right?
Yeah, Brianna.
Brianna. So they're like, Brianna, really? Did you have to say that? Like, Uncle Jimmy's gonna listen to that line.
It's so funny because my dad was like, I sent him the video and the song when it was finished. They've been hearing the song for years, but I sent my dad the final video last week and he was like, I love it, but did you really have to say fuck like Marilyn Monroe? So bang on.
Man,
Yeah.
I shockingly I
on.
got that. One point for me today.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, you would think about like, yeah, obviously parents would like hear that. They'd be like, oh, that song's amazing. It's went platinum. This is terrific. But like,
But it made
Yeah.
sense.
you
It's like,
could have not bleeped that word out.
well, it's like, yeah, dance like Michael Jackson, or sing like Whitney, dance like Michael,
Yeah.
fuck like Marilyn.
Yeah. Smoke
Right.
like Marley, love like Lucy, and dress like Jackie O.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fun fact: there's a bar called Jackie O's in Mykonos.
I know.
There you go. Bringing it right back. I'm killing it today.
You are killing it today. You're on a roll.
So would you, of those people that you obviously named in the song, you said that there's like as part of it's like your inspiration, people you like kind of looked up to. Who was your biggest idol? I
Probably.
bet your parents don't want to hear you say Marilyn Monroe right now.
Well, it was probably, I loved Marilyn, but it was Whitney Houston for
Yeah,
sure.
obviously.
Yeah. It was, she's like, there's no voice like Whitney Houston's voice.
Yeah.
There's some people who sing and there's other people who are born to do it. And she's one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those other ones, they're kind of like inspirations in other aspects and kind of like the energy they bring. Like,
Totally.
yeah, I guess how would you describe all of them like in a nutshell? Is it is it a little bit of something from everybody, just what they embody as a culture, as cultural icons? Like,
It's a little bit of both. I mean, Whitney, it's obvious she was like generational talent. Like she will go down as one of the best singers of all time. Like her talent is divine. Like nobody sings like Whitney Houston. And Michael also incredible performer.
Yeah, I was gonna say Michael too is.
Yeah.
Michael's Michael.
There's no one who moves like Michael. And
But
then
even his voice too is so good because he could do like the high notes, not like the low notes, but he had such a range.
totally. And then Marilyn, bless you, I thought you were gonna.
I was about to, yeah, I was trying to get it out of there, but anyways,
I
I
almost
hate
asked
when
the
that
dumbest
happens.
question of my podcasting career.
ask it, please.
Do it.
I was literally just gonna ask, I'm like, oh, so obviously you're a big music person.
Oh wow,
I didn't mean it like. I didn't mean it like that, but I was gonna be like, obviously, like you go like the history.
It's all right, pal. I just asked who's your biggest inspiration. The song's called Whitney, so don't worry, you're off the hook. Like if you didn't catch that one,
I caught. I didn't want to say anything.
yeah, I looked over. As soon as I said it, I looked over. I was like, wow, this is what a dumb question.
No, but I meant like obviously music's a big part of your life, but like is it like the historical people as well? Like, you know, Michael's no longer around and he kind of stopped coming out with bangers probably late 90s, mid 90s.
Yeah.
He was like kind of the 80s and like early 90s verse thing. Whitney was even before Michael, no? Or around the same time?
Yeah.
I'm going to make an assumption. I think you're probably born mid late 90s.
Yes, late.
So they're like before you.
They are before me. I just wanted to pick really timeless people because my parents introduced me to really timeless icons and they're who I grew up admiring.
That's fair.
Yeah. Because like my current, muses change all the time. So I just wanted to pick something that I would relate to whenever the song came out. And thank gosh they were, timeless
Icons,
people because
yeah.
it probably
Yeah.
would have changed so many times over since it was written so long ago.
Who are some of your favorite right now?
Whew, great question.
Thank you.
Tovlo, Tuvelu is the correct pronunciation. But
Is it?
yeah,
I always thought
It's Tuvelu.
it's Tuvelu. I recently learned this as well, and I was like, I've been saying it wrong this entire time.
Tovlo is what I would have said.
yeah.
Same.
I think probably 90% of people say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she was saying in an interview that she's embraced like that as well, but it's Tuvelu. So she, to me, is such an incredible writer. She has such great pop sensibility. Like she has a new album coming out, and everything that she's released thus far off this album has just been like perfect pop alchemy.
Did you go to the show at History?
I did not.
Ah.
I did not. I think that there's a show on Valentine's Day of hers, if I'm not mistaken, at History
Really?
next year.
Yeah, I know she came this year.
Yeah, but she's coming again.
Okay.
So I'm definitely going to be at that show.
Have you been to History yet?
I have.
Amazing
I saw
venue.
Duke Dumont there a couple of
Oh,
weeks ago.
How was it?
Unbelievable. Like everything. It was a perfect show.
Duke
Perfect
Dumont's
show.
one of my favorite. Was one of the best DJs I've seen live. Like his music's be so good.
So hype.
Yeah,
I
I don't
love
know any really. Has he come out with any new songs? Like I don't know many, if any.
Yeah, I
but
mean,
like used to have like bangers back in the day.
yeah,
Like not bangers,
like the
big
Ocean
numbers, like-
Drive era.
Yeah, those
Like,
were the
that was
best.
iconic.
Well, even
Those were the
during
best.
COVID, I think he had that the set from Cafe Mambo with Gorgon City.
Let me say you think you've watched that 1,000 times.
Yeah, but I think it came out. I think it was the summer before COVID, but then it got big during COVID.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, but
annoying.
I love Dutemont, Gorgon City.
You literally every time we'd
Same.
be in here, put that set on.
yeah, no, it's
I'm
great.
okay.
Bang.
It's just so
yeah,
like,
yeah.
uplifting.
Dutemont is that'd be a good one of history to see.
Yeah.
Still haven't been yet.
His visuals were also insane. Like for the show, it was captivating. Crazy, crazy show. And I love the venue.
I'm gonna ask
That's
you a
amazing.
question that I know Rick's about to ask. I'm gonna steal it.
Do it.
Dream venue to play.
Bell
point.
Center in Montreal.
Bell Center.
Bell
That's
Center in
fair.
Montreal.
Okay, I guess
Um,
that's like some would say
sense.
Scotiabank Arena from here.
For sure. But
Yeah.
like I have a bit of a history with the Bell Center because I used to do the anthems for the Habs.
I wanted to talk about this.
Yeah.
You're like
Okay,
Ricky's
perfect.
best friend now.
Hey.
No. You might not know this. Did you Google this or no?
No, wait.
So, and correct me if I'm wrong. Like one of your kind of like big, I don't want to say like rise to fame was you were like the hot girl from the national anthem.
It blew up for whatever reason.
It was like a social media thing. Like you got like someone said the hot girl from the national anthem at the Bell Center.
And I completely bombed. But like,
wait,
I guess
I don't know this.
Tell a story.
I
Yeah,
don't know
he's a
anything
no,
about
and
this.
I might be not saying it properly because it wasn't in the write up that the girls gave us.
it's all good. We
It's
can
okay.
talk about it. So I went to an open call audition back in 2014. And a girlfriend of mine was already doing the Sarah Diamond was already doing the anthems for the Habs. And I was like, this is so cool. So I went to an open call and got on the ice and belted it out. And I was like, there's no way I'm getting this job. Like there's so many people here. And they called me back and they're like, hey, do you want to do the Bruins versus Habs game? And like, if you know hockey, you know that that's like a
Original Six.
crazy rivalry.
Yeah.
And so as a Habs fan, I'm like, fuck yeah. Like this is such a great game. And so I got on there and like, acoustics in arenas are really difficult. So you usually like sing with in-ears or a monitor and like they don't have that available. So they're like, just wing it. And so I was like not on perfect pitch and I kind of like butchered it slightly, but then I got back to the dressing room and it kind of just like blew up on the internet. And so many like, it's crazy that I can trace back the dominoes of like the domino effects to like where I am today loosely because of this anthem moment. And so to answer your question in a roundabout way, I think it would be really cool to finally go back home and play that, but play it with my own music.
Wow.
It is crazy. Like I remember seeing that when we originally like, kind of got this invitation. I was like, that's actually such a wild story.
Thanks.
Did you know what it before? Like on social
No,
media?
I didn't know about it at the time. And I saw something. I remember Googling. I'm like, this is crazy. It's like, imagine. So we have Martina. She's like been the anthem singer for, I don't know, like 10 years or something.
Go ahead.
Yeah, she's like unbelievable, like phenomenal singer. But again, I don't think she does anything else other than that. Maybe she's trying to make it, no idea. But she's been there for like 10 years. And I saw that. I'm like, imagine someone just taking a picture of Martina and being like, oh my God, she's like so hot. And like it blows up. And next thing you know, she's got a record deal.
Yeah.
Not
Well,
next thing, but yeah.
it definitely took many, many years. But
Ricky,
yeah.
I'll never forget. We were downstairs knocking the platinum, walking through like one of the like the concourse levels, ice levels, it's like the suites and stuff. And we're walking from one of the lounges, going back to the seats, and we see what's her name, Martina. And Martina.
Ortiz.
And Rick always said how much he like thinks she's like sings a great anthem, like loves her, whatever. And we see her, and Rick's I think had a few drinks at this point, and Rick like I'll never forget this. He looks at her, he goes, Martina, I love you. But like he meant like, and then he caught himself like, oh no, like you're like really good, but like I love how you sing, whatever.
Yeah.
But it just she was like startled. She's like, huh? What?
Oh my
And
God.
she's younger than like
I'm like
younger than
twice
we
her
were.
age.
She had like at the time she had like braces on still. Like
No
it was
way.
Like I'm like a grown ass man
it,
here.
It didn't come across. The delivery
Yeah.
was not great.
Yeah.
It was like startling. It was kind of creepy.
Wow.
But
I love
but
it.
then they, yeah, obviously.
Now we're
it
like
out.
friends.
Yeah.
Not really, but it's okay.
It's okay in your mind.
Yeah.
So is that how they do? I mean, is that how most teams do it? Like, is it open mics, or you don't? Does it change, or is it vary based on?
I have no idea.
Or you just you had
there
an
was
open
like
mic
there
and
was
went-
some like I feel so bad not knowing this because he was such an iconic like figure in Montreal, but there was like an older gentleman doing it for like years, and all of a sudden they're like, we're just gonna hire someone new. And so
Really?
yeah, they hired my friend Sarah, and they had a couple of us girls doing it for a while, and then the iconic Ginette Renault also does it quite a bit. She's a legend. Yeah.
Okay.
You big hockey fan? You mentioned Habs fan.
You know, I am a big Habs fan. Do I know hockey super well? I think that it would be a crime not to be a Habs fan being from Montreal. But like I love the way that it brings the city together. Like there's nothing like being in the arena when the Habs are playing during the playoffs. It's crazy.
Now in Toronto, do you like? Are you a sports person at all? Like, do you cheer for like any other teams? Raptors, Leafs. I mean, not Leafs, Raptors, Jays, anything.
I feel like I could get into it. Like if they make it quite far.
She's like, if I'm there and the seats are good,
Hell
like I'll go. Like why not?
Yeah, but it's just a vibe, right? Like I can get down with that.
Yeah,
That's fair.
So I guess overall, not a sports person. No, fair. It's all right. We won't talk about sports. We talk about it enough.
It's okay. I just like watch me like be paralyzed on this chair for like the rest of the podcast if we talk sports.
Control Delete.
Yeah.
Literally, I've heard the song a million times. Didn't know, like I don't take this the wrong way. I didn't know it was you until obviously now. Listen to how that happened. What's the story behind it? Because that was a banger. It is a banger.
Thanks.
I love how I say was like the song just doesn't exist anymore. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, that person was such a nice person. It's like, did they die? Like, did they go somewhere?
R.I.P.
Like, yeah. Like,
But yeah, Control Delete actually came up, like it came to be very randomly and sort of by accident because I was working with Banks and Ranks for like our first week of writing together in Montreal. And we had written, like it was during the first lockdown, so the world was feeling really, really heavy. And we were writing a bunch of really serious and very dark dance music. And I remember coming into the studio the day that we wrote Control, and I was like, guys, we gotta shift the gears here. Like it's getting really dark. And it was amazing, but it was like a bit dark. And I was like, we gotta switch up the energy. And so I said, let's write something fun. Let's write something cheeky and kind of like carefree. And if nothing comes of today, then so be it. But like at least we had fun. And this was a good like exercise and just positivity. And we ended up writing Control Delete. And we laughed our heads off the entire time we wrote it. Like a bunch of our friends came to the studio safely, like just 2 friends. I'm not going to say because it was COVID, but some of our friends came to the studio. They sang backups on the pre-chorus of it. They were all in the music video, but like we never expected it to take on the life that it did when we wrote it. And we're just so happy it did. Like FIFA 2022 picked it up, and then like it was on the cover of Mint, and then Drag Race this year. Wow. And so it's just been like really well received, and it's been a ride that we're so grateful for.
That's pretty crazy.
That is. And Drag Race, how does that happen that a show picks it up? Like, do you find out, you just hear it? Does the label take care of everything?
I'm not quite sure about how it happened. We just got like the sync request, and I almost fell off my chair because I'm such a big Drag Race fan. And so I was like, I'm peaking, and I haven't even seen it yet. I really hope they use it for a lip sync, and they ended up using for a lip sync, and it was, crazy.
Do you guys have the drag? Sorry to interrupt. No, do you have the drag brunches in Montreal?
Yes, not as much. They do them a lot more here.
Yeah, like here they're apparently like crazy parties.
Oh, they're amazing.
Have you heard of them? So I might butcher this too, but I know at certain venues they host these drag brunches, and the idea is like it's not just a brunch, but like a brunch and a show.
I think I've seen something. Yeah.
Yeah. So apparently they sell out like every single time.
Oh,
they did one at Stack Market a couple weeks ago. And I remember seeing it online. I'm like, there's like easily a few hundred people there, like, and everybody's dancing and partying.
Isn't Stack an outdoor market?
Yeah.
It was outdoors?
Yeah. It's like maybe a month ago.
Oh, it was lit. Super, super fun. Like I did one with Lemon at Stacked. Lemon's a queen from Drag Race. My song Tongue features Lemon. And we did like a cute little number together to Tongue at the Stack Market drag brunch, and it was crazy.
That was the same drag brunch?
They've done it a few times this summer, so I'm not sure if it was the same one, but it's like probably the same
people
thing.
that run it. Yeah. Harriet's did one. Like I know it's like a big thing.
Yeah, Harriet's we learned the hard way what, like, was it Harriet's? No, where did we go into when we were all with our moms that one time?
Oh man.
You guys took your moms to a drag brunch?
Well, no. So we think Ricky and I, we've been best friends for over a decade. He started taking his mom on like a trip once a year. So that I tagged along with my mom, and then like once a year we'll take them out for like a Leafs game and dinner, or what do we go?
Like a double date kind of thing.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So anyways, the last time we did it, was it 2 years ago now?
No, that
Goldies?
No, Hartley.
So we were out somewhere. We were out for dinner. And then we were like, let's go find like somewhere to have drinks. They were going to take off, and then we were going to stay out. We went into Hartley because
yeah, one of my friends is one of the owners.
Sit down, we're at drinks. Like, this is amazing.
Good vibe, good music. Like it's kind of dim lit, really nice. Like our moms ordered drinks that come with those little bubbles that like pop
Smoke
and
or whatever.
So we're having a good time. then the show starts. So it's not a drag show by any means,
but it's like, yeah.
But it was kind of like, I don't want to use the word raunchy because that's not the right word, but
Was it a burlesque show?
It was provocative.
it wasn't even it's like more raunchy than a burlesque show.
Did you take them? Did you take them to the box?
No. You've been to the box?
I've
What's the
never
box?
been to the box, but I'm dying to go to
It's
the
not
box.
in Toronto. There's not one in
It's not
Toronto.
in Toronto, but it sounds like you took your
I'm
mom
gonna
to
tell
the
this story.
box.
Oh my God.
Okay. And yeah. So, anyways, to wrap that story up, we sat down, and then all of a sudden, we heard music go on the stage, like whatever. We turn around. I was like, wait. I'm like, where? What is this place? And Rick's like, oh, I don't know. They do they put on there's performers and stuff. And the person I think was either half naked or it was pretty it was risque.
Yeah.
And our moms are sitting there dying of laughter.
Of course, they probably had the best time.
But anyways, our moms are pretty young, they're having a good time. And he's got a couple of drinks with the hell out of there. And
Yeah.
went on with our night.
Amazing.
What's the box? Yeah.
So the box, I think, started in London, England, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
But then eventually it's traveled to a bunch of different parts of the world. The one I went to was in New York. I was there for my work trip in 2013 or 2014. Went there. The company I was working for here had an office in New York, head office. So you had got invited there for some training BS. Anyways, so Friday we were like, hey, since we're here, let's extend our trip. Let's stay an extra couple nights. So we stayed till Sunday. Friday night, my buddy messaged me we got to go to this place called The Box. I'm like, what is it? He's like, it's crazy. It's from Europe. It's crazy. It's just crazy show. I was like, what is it? Is it a DJ show? Is it a haunted house? What is it? Give an example, right?
That's just fun.
Well, it's October maybe.
We're going to fire it up for a haunted house.
So we pre-drink. We get to can't come in unless you have a table. We're like, okay, what's a table? Mind you, we're 22, not making much money. A $2,000 table was a lot of money back then, right?
Yeah.
Fuck it, we got to do it. My buddy's like, guys, I've heard it's the craziest thing ever. We have to do it. So we get a table. So our table's not a table. We're in a little tiny room the size of that carpet. So let's say 2 meters by 3 meters.
Yeah.
We're in our own little room. There's no windows or nothing but a little curtain. The curtain's closed. You can't open it. Cool, no big deal. So we got our bells. We're drinking. Just 4 dudes sitting beside a table, just drinking. Cool. So hey, the show's going to start in 20 minutes. First act. Okay, cool. Still don't know what to expect. Eventually, I heard whispers that it's a sex show. Cool. I've been to a sex show in Amsterdam too, so I was expecting, just to watch people have sex on stage. That's kind of what I was expecting. I kid you not. They open the curtain, so this girl comes walking out. She does a little strip. There's a bathtub just lowers from the ceiling, filled with a bunch of stuff. So she's dancing, singing, champagne's pouring all over her, blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, I don't even know if I can say this on, I'm going to say it, fuck it. She pulls a fucking bottle of champagne out of her pops it, sprays the crowd, and we're just what the
it was
F?
Into the whole time?
Yeah. And it was a 10-minute performance. It was the craziest. That was scene 1. I'm not going to get into scene 2 and 3 on air. I'll tell that off air. But it was absolutely I've never been back.
That's unreal.
It was wild. I'm glad I did it once, but it's still to this day the craziest show, club, bar.
I don't know if I've ever heard this before.
Yeah, it was before me and you were close, but we were definitely friends. You knew I went to New York on that trip.
I know, but I don't remember ever hearing about it. It kind of sounds familiar, but I
just remember watching that thing come out. I was like, she did it a 10-minute routine. And then she pops and sprays. I was like, am I turned on? Am I disgusted? I don't even know how to feel right now. And that's the idea.
Something.
It's so many, anyways.
Oh my gosh.
Wild.
How did we get on this topic again?
We were talking about
you took your moms to a risque brunch.
Yeah,
and I said,
you
what
mentioned
is
Harley.
this
She
bar?
mentioned
Drag
the bar.
brunches, yeah. This went on a...
Yeah, that was crazy. As I said, we
detour.
normally don't talk sex. And we talk the box. We talk about writing porns.
Sorry, guys.
Oh, that's okay, man.
Don't
We love it.
apologize. Yeah, it's fine.
Love it. I'm still this is crazy. I was not expecting that at all. I guess kind of switching gears a bit. What's this year got in store for you? What do you plan on doing this year? You got any shows coming up?
Yeah, I mean, I'm heading to Amsterdam next week for ADE, which is a big dance convention. Yeah. So heading there next week, doing a couple of shows in London, hopefully.
Ooh, love that.
And then back here, November, December are kind of it's low season. But then next year, getting back on tour. And we did a lot of that this year in the summer across Canada. So getting back on the road next year, hopefully, and then dropping an album probably midway through the year.
Awesome. What were some highlights from the tour?
Just meeting everybody. I was so surprised because when you see streams But then you get out onto the road and like people are singing your songs and you're like, what the fuck? Like you actually know this? This is so cool. And seeing and connecting with people. Like I have this one song called Tongue. And it's like this really cheeky song that I did with Lemon about like being absolutely mesmerized by this girl. And it's pretty funny, like funny lyrics. And I remember performing it one time this summer, and at the end of the show, a girl came up to me and she was crying and she was like, your song actually helped me come out to my parents. And so you never know, even if it's just like a happy-go-lucky fun song, how it's going to affect people. And then you go on the road and you hear their stories and you see them like singing your words back to you. It's like, that's the best part. Like that's definitely the highlight of tour. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, that's gotta be super cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. Yeah, someone to say that too, like that helped them come out to their parents. Like,
yeah,
it's pretty. That's a pretty big deal. I think. Like,
huge.
Yeah,
it's so scary
kinda
sometimes.
gives someone the confidence to make it. Like, it's not like a life changing decision for someone to do something like that, right? It's
totally.
Yeah.
Yep.
I read a BuzzFeed post on this about like 20 famous people that had to come out to their parents because of like outside sources, and you read it, and I didn't realize this. The dude from NSYNC, Lance Bass, I think he had to come out because like Perez Hilton like basically bullied him online.
Yeah.
And that was the reason he came out. And you're like, that's so shitty. Like nobody should have to come out not on their own terms, right?
Yeah.
But
look what just happened to Rebel Wilson. Something similar happened to her too, and she.
What happened?
I have no idea.
Also, Rebel Wilson's the one from Pitch
from
Perfect?
Bridesmaids. And Pitch Perfect. But something happened, and I don't want to butcher this because I want to do it justice, but apparently some like media outlet was like gave her 2 days notice and was like, we're going to run this article about you being with a woman or something like that. And she was like, what the fuck? Like, that's so unfair. So she basically had to come out because she was like, I want to write the narrative. Like, it's a shame that it has to happen this way, but you know.
But I guess on your side, then it's nice that like you gave someone the power, I guess inadvertently, to come out and share their story, which is amazing.
Yeah. You should be proud of who you are.
100%.
Yeah.
That is, yeah, actually, that's so shitty. Like, you think that someone like that, like, even the media would have discretion to be like, this is someone's like personal life. Like, I mean, obviously it's tabloids, right? Like, you pay for clicks and all that. Or, I mean, you want clicks and all that stuff, but like,
think about all the tabloids.
At a certain point, you would think you would have to have some sort of moral compass. Like,
right.
These guys don't, or these women, people, anyways. Think about like all the scandals that come out. Like, you know, you're gonna ruin someone's life by this. Can't you just like give it to them privately? Like, you have this information, share it with them privately. Give them the chance to buy it from you at least, so that you don't just ruin someone's life.
Yep.
Or some like people's life, because
any
any cheating scandal ruins more than one person's life.
Yeah.
It's like at least 3, 4, 5 people, especially if there's kids involved. Like,
yeah, it's awful.
But that's so like, yeah, I don't know. That's maybe a deeper conversation. But like, what does that benefit? Like that industry, the tabloid industry, like, has anyone ever said like, I'm so thankful to have tabloids to make my life better? Like that, like the sort that, you know, people love to like understand what's happening behind celebrities' lives and stuff that they don't see and like peek behind the curtain. But like, I mean,
it's about money, man.
I know, but that's the thing. Like, I don't know. You would think like stuff like cigarettes have crazy taxes on them. Drugs, a lot of drugs are illegal. Like all these things that, you know, that maybe give some people some sense of dopamine or satisfaction, but also have equal downside effects, if not worse than the upside, are banned or illegal. Like this is, in theory, kind of like a drug. Like people read it and get a sense of like dopamine or satisfaction or enjoyment or pleasure out of it, reading something that they are not privy to and wouldn't have access to. But it also then destroys something else. So for every like bad, you have a good, right? So you would think that like, I don't know, why wouldn't it be like regulated or something? Man, it was going down so philosophical. I never thought about that. And yeah, terrible.
It's horrible. I like to think that it's hopefully getting a little bit better, because like back in the day, that was the only way that you could ever get information on like famous people. But now celebrities have the opportunity to like write their own narrative a little bit with social media, but that's also a catch-22 in so many ways. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's true. Like they have their own platform, their own voice. They can kind of get ahead of it. It's not like, you know, they don't have to like something gets because it gets released that's not true. They don't have to like do a whole presser on TV and say, well, this is my statement. It's that you can like just get right to the source quickly and nip it in the bud.
Totally.
Or butt, whatever the saying is. But yeah, that's a double-edged sword though, because you can like imagine being a celebrity and you're in a nightclub. If you're a celebrity, you cannot let loose ever in public.
Nope.
Like you cannot just go to a club and have a night where I'm gonna do 10 shots with my girls tonight because then you're on said tabloids.
Yeah.
Even like politicians, though, same thing. Trudeau, like whether you support Trudeau or don't support Trudeau, he was playing the piano or singing the piano with like some of his buddies or something at a convention, and he got roasted online.
Right.
Like roasted.
Really?
Yeah.
It was bad. Like everyone was like, "Oh, this is where your taxpayer dollars are going." So like, bro, it's clearly like 9 or 10 a night. The guy's just having some fun, having some drinks. Like
Get
again,
outta
whether you
here.
support Trudeau or don't support Trudeau, people should be able to have some free time of their own, right? Like Rob Ford this year, remember, like I think he went to the Leaf game or something. He bought the tickets to go to the Leaf game, and he got chirped like, "Oh, this is what taxpayer dollars goes to." He's like, "No, I bought these. Like,
Yeah.
I have money as a politician. I get paid. I'm allowed to go to games. I'm allowed to go to events." What? Like, but.
Yeah.
Are you?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, are you big into social media or not?
I think you have to be as an artist these days. So I am. It's definitely been where I find it is the most challenging part of my job, because I'm not the type of person who's like, my first instinct is to just share and share and share and share. But I have a lot of fun with it. Like you get to write your own narrative on like Instagram and TikTok, but it's not something that comes super naturally to me, but I'm definitely online.
Which is your platform like that you prefer to use?
Probably TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you can just be, it's like Instagram's still a little bit, I guess it's moving away from that now, but it's always this like perfectly curated and like aesthetic platform, which was amazing. But TikTok, you could just be stupid.
Yeah.
And like people get to know your quirkier side quicker. And
That's fair.
it's a
What are
little
your
bit more
thoughts on
flexible.
Be Real?
I love Be Real.
Yeah.
But now TikTok has like their own version of Be Real.
Yeah, I saw that. We said a few weeks ago or something. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's cute.
It's interesting how like younger generation is really like saying like a real fuck you to like the older crowd that, and I'm not, no offense if anyone's like this, but like people like who want to like, you know, post like the highlight reels and all that. We all do it. I'm not like, I do it as well. You post your trip, you post all the best moments and the best this. And this younger generation is like, fuck it, we're gonna post pictures of like us with a double-sided camera and get whatever the hell comes up and not care. And like if you try hard, then you're like the not cool person, right? Like
Totally.
it's like try as little as possible is like what is cool. Honestly, I respect it.
Yeah.
See, I don't know, because even with Be Real, so I tried it for 30 days. I was like, you know what? Everyone keeps talking about it now. I'm a little bit older. I still love Instagram. Like Instagram, I absolutely love it. TikTok, I'm on it. Don't love it, but I guess good at it, I guess. But Be Real, I don't find it's that real anyways, because there's all those people that missed their mark. Well, it's like, if you're 6 hours late, how do I know that you didn't just wait for the perfect moment to take that picture?
Oh, I would say like I wait for like a cool moment on my B-roll. I'm
See, but
like,
then I mean,
I'm
it's like-
going to concert later. I'm going to wait to take my B-roll then.
Yeah, but then it's like, what's the
I
difference
know,
between that and like
defeats the
Insta stories, right?
purpose. Yeah.
Wait, I don't have it, so explain this. So you can wait.
So you get the notification, right? So it's right now you get a notification. You have
Is
2
it
minutes.
random?
Yeah.
Every day. It's the same time for everybody, but it is random.
Oh, so it might be like right now. Like
Yeah.
So yeah, I delete it. But let's say if it went off, mine and hers would go off right now at the exact same time.
Yeah.
Oh.
So like in my office, there's 2 other people that have it. I didn't know who it was. And one day I heard the notification go off, and it's a unique sound. So I was like, who's got Be Real in my office? And then 2 seconds later, mine went off. So I found it was like one of the girls in my office. But everyone's goes off at the same time, and you have 2 minutes to take your picture. If you retake it, it'll tell your followers that you retook it. Or if you were late, it'll tell your followers how late you were. Half the time I scrolled through it, I'm like, either they retook it or they were late.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was just the people I was following. I only had like 20 followers.
And when
around.
Yeah,
you
same.
take a photo on Be Real, does it go on a grid, or does it
No,
disappear?
so
Uh,
it disappears
you
after
have a-
24
you have a
hours,
grid.
but you get to
Yeah.
see it,
You get
you
to
can
see
go
your
back
own, but you
and
I
can't
like
see
like
other
this thing. I
people's.
might get it.
and it takes a photo simultaneously of your front and back camera.
No, it's a second apart.
It's a second apart.
I did it because I was like, how do people have this? How are people facing the camera in both pictures? So one day I did it. I took the picture like this. I turned the phone. I took it like this, and I got both pictures.
See, the more you know.
How did you figure out it was? Oh, because people were doing.
Because I
it.
saw, I'm like, there's no mirror. I'm like, how do they do that? There's no mirror in the room. How do they have How are they both in the picture?
Imagine sitting there trying to rack your brain to figure out how kids game to be real.
Because
I'm just like picturing you trying to figure it out.
Everybody's
holding a mirror behind his head. Like,
no, because I was looking at this and I saw. I'm like, that's a cool photo, but how'd they do that? Because everyone always says it's the exact same time. But if you notice when you press it, so you take the first picture and then it'll say smile now or something.
Yeah.
And then it takes the second one.
But I don't even have B-roll, and I was under the impression that was the case because when we were in Europe, someone did it. I don't know if it was Maz or somebody.
It's a second
and
apart.
it was a delay.
Yeah, there's a delay. I didn't know it because everybody always says it's the same time, simultaneous.
Don't believe everything you hear, but
Then I did my own MythBusters. Yeah, but no, I didn't love it. I'm just I deleted it.
Rick's a big TikTok guy. Have you seen Rick's TikToks?
I have not, but now I'm gonna go.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like you're in my demographic that you would have seen it.
Oh.
It's okay. Maybe just don't
Yeah,
remember me.
I'll give you a
No big deal. Just don't remember me.
Maybe you're very unmemorable.
Not memorable, I guess. No big deal.
Rick's, yeah.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about it.
No.
Are you on the talk? The TikTok?
I used to have it, but I just posted. I only had it when I posted. I had it when we had like a startup a couple of years ago, and I was posting stuff related to like work, and then I posted a bit related to like travel stuff, and then I was like, nah, I can't get off social media. I don't have any. I got my Instagram back temporarily this past weekend to message some people that I didn't have their phone numbers, but yeah, I'm off
George
social media.
Wavers.
Just slide into the.
I do
DMs.
waver, but like I think this is like the time where I'm like I've actually. I think the last picture I posted was I got engaged this past summer.
Congrats.
Thank you. In like beginning of August. And like I was like, you know what? I kind of knew obviously I knew it was coming. I like planning to do it. I was like, I'm sure there's gonna be stuff to post around, then people want to message, so I'll keep it. And after that, I was like, I don't care to tell people what I'm doing anymore. Yeah. I mean, obviously a podcast, so people can, if they want, they can hear my opinion and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. I just kind of think I've grown out of it. But Be Real does sound kind of appealing. I'm not gonna lie.
Check it out. Obviously it's massive. I think it was the most downloaded app in like Q1 and Q2. I think.
Yeah, they launched the same time as Cast did.
One worked, one didn't.
Our startup was Cast. We co-founded it together.
Yeah. Do you find that like social media now, obviously you do it as a job, makes it less fun than when you did it not as a job? I guess
it depends, because I think that my reflex has gotten a lot better, so I have fun with it. But sometimes, like when you're in a promo cycle, like I say, promoting a song sometimes could feel like styling a t-shirt 50 different ways. And so sometimes it's different. Like it's very difficult to come up with like new and very natural ways to promote your music. So that can be challenging, but I actually quite enjoy it now that I, have like just exercised that muscle a little bit.
That's fair.
Yeah. And like also learning to not take it too seriously, because it's getting out of the mindset of like, oh my gosh, this like has to be perfectly like curated and this and that. And sometimes I'll just be like, what's up, you guys? And like, that's my TikTok.
It's so funny because a lot of people now, like Instagram, I don't want to say put a negative connotation on social media in the sense that everyone's feed was so perfectly curated. Not everyone, but majority of the time is everyone's highlight reel. So you cared so much about what your grid looked like to the point where people literally design their grid profiles, right? Whereas TikTok, I feel like is almost the opposite.
Yep.
First off, you never know what's going to go viral. I've done it a million times. I'm like, this TikTok going viral, boom, 5,000 views.
Yeah.
One that's like, I don't know, you randomly take a video of the room and someone just happens to see the candy machine in the back and that candy machine goes viral and does 1 million views or something.
Yep.
And you're just like, what the fuck just happened?
Yep. You never know.
And that's the idea is like people should just post as many, and everyone on TikTok knows like you gotta post 3 times a day, blah, 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 blah. Just post whatever. Who cares?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's part of the algorithm, if I'm being honest.
The randomness?
Yeah. Because think about like, I wonder if it's like, if there is, because there's a lot of theories that go into like what goes viral, what doesn't, and what like, the algorithms, all that stuff. I don't have it, but I do follow like this tech space, I think, enough. And like, when you think about it, I mean, it's controlled by like it's called the Chinese government, but called ByteDance, whatever, they control it, right? Like it is the most culturally dominant app in the past couple of years and probably will be for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
Like, how else do you stay relevant besides like, sorry, let's back up a second. Instagram, you knew back in the day, if you posted at like 6 p.m., you get more likes than at 2 p.m., right? So people kind of figure out how to game the system. With TikTok, maybe some people know how. I don't know, but I haven't heard many people that figured out how to make every TikTok go viral.
Yeah. The algorithm's always changing.
But I feel like, like us talking about it now, being like, I post one like 5,000, one that I didn't expect to get. Sorry, you said I post one that I think's gonna go viral, gets 5,000. One that I think's gonna have nothing, goes viral. The fact that it's confusing and almost in a sense, not maybe a bit frustrating, like keeps people talking about it and keeps it relevant and keeps people trying to figure it out and guess how to do it, whatever. And now we're talking about it, which is essentially free publicity for TikTok. Not that it matters.
Well, I think it's, but the thing is, I think what she says, they're constantly changing it. So even when you think you have it figured out, because there's times where I'm like, okay, these 4 videos killed it. This 5th one, I'm going to change something that people like. They're going to comment on it. I'm going to get good watch time. Like all those like key metrics, right? You post it and it just tanks. And I'm like, what the hell did I do wrong?
Yeah.
And then you switch up, you post some random thing. Like I remember I posted once me chugging a glass of wine. Literally, it was nothing else. I don't even think I had a text on it. It was just me chugging a glass of wine and it went off. Like not off, but like compared to my previous videos. And I was like, what the hell? Like did nothing that aligned with my niche, just went off.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, so if I do this again, maybe it'll go off, but I don't know. You think you figured it out and then you don't. And it's just,
yeah, you never know.
If I did it as a job, I would absolutely hate it. And I kind of do now. And like whenever I have to do those things, I get frustrated because I was like, this sucks. But overall, like I do think it's an easier job. Like you have said, it's kind of difficult at the beginning.
Yeah, it's just like a muscle that you just have to like exercise.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
The more you do it, the easier
And
it
you get
becomes.
to know your audience as well.
Tilt the mic a little bit, like down
Like
a little
these?
bit, like this way.
Like these?
There you go, right there. Yeah.
Okay.
When did you move to Toronto?
I moved to Toronto at the beginning of 2020.
Ooh, bad time.
Horrible timing. I moved in with a complete stranger.
No,
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Guy, girl.
a girl.
Okay.
And she ended up being very lovely.
Oh,
But so it was like totally worked out. But yeah, complete stranger. And I had no idea that I'd be like locked down with her for like a year. But it ended up working out.
Have you seen the Netflix series Bad Roommate?
No. Oh, wait. Have I? It's about the nurse, right?
It's about people who move in with people that I guess they didn't know before, and it's like bad experiences, like 4 of them.
Yes. The first one was about that nurse that was like
maybe.
taking care of people and like was like just like killing them.
Maybe. I actually don't remember what the first one. I only remember one.
my man, have you watched this show? Yeah, me neither.
No. I don't. Is it about the nurse in the first one?
I think so because I turned it on the other day.
This girl moves in with a guy, and he's like he's nuts. Like he just like makes her life a living hell, and like she can't get out of the lease and stuff. Anyways, I'm butchering it for sure. I've watched all of them. I don't really remember them now. So this is a terrible thing to have brought up. But anyways, I just thought roommate. Fuck it.
It's gotta be weird though, like moving in with someone you have no idea. You're coming from. Oh, I guess your English is really. You speak French first language, right?
Second.
Oh, okay.
I grew up in the West Island, which is like an English pocket on the island of Montreal. So I grew up speaking English first and then French second.
I found my experiences in Montreal and in Quebec in general is that if you speak English first, you get like almost frowned upon.
Depends. It like I don't know. From most Montrealers, if they see that you're making an effort, they'll be like, "Oh, that's great," but they'll switch to English.
For me, I find. I'm going to word this nicely. Every time I've been to Montreal or Quebec, I always say like, oh, nice, like, hello.
Like bonjour.
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 Sorry,
Bonjour,
I was
hi.
trying to think of the word. Bonjour. Hi. Can I get a double-double or whatever?
Yeah.
As soon as they hear that, can I get a double-double or the English part, I feel like I'm just like, service goes down instantly. It's like, I didn't even get served yet.
Interesting.
Do you think that's true? Like, you generally think that you say bonjour, like, because your bonjour doesn't sound like French anyway. So they probably know you're not French to begin with. So it wouldn't change. Say bonjour.
Maybe it's
again.
just always just bad then.
Say
for me.
bonjour.
Say it. Oh, that's pretty good. Wait.
No, that one was
Wait,
a
wait.
bullshit one. You're trying to sound like he's from like
Bonjour.
Paris. That was
Do
like
it again.
bonjour.
Do it again.
Bonjour. Comment ça va?
Oh.
Ça va bien. Merci à vous. Ça va bien. Merci.
Okay, not terrible actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like not bad.
Je m'appelle Richard.
Now you gotta go.
Oh, I just want to say bonjour. Je m'appelle Georges.
Okay.
Comment ça va, monsieur, whatever? Don't you remember that when you were a kid?
Un petit pas parler français means I speak a little bit. Or am I saying it wrong?
Wait, do that one more time. It was too quick.
Nah, I'm messing
Did
it
you
up
see
now.
it? Petit Papa Noel. That's like.
I'm trying to say like I want to speak a little bit of French, but I'm butchering all the words. I'm saying I'm like
It's okay. It's not far off.
that's close. Anyways,
It's
there.
okay.
I don't speak French.
Duolingo, here we come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I Duolingo have a love hate thing with. I like start with like one language and I get like pretty far in. I was doing Italian for a while and I was actually picking it up okay, can understand it. Then I said Spanish and then French and I just said fuck it, I can't make up my mind.
Speaking of TikTok, they have an amazing TikTok. Duolingo has like a kick-ass TikTok.
Really?
Yeah, go look it up. It's really funny.
My favorite is Ryanair's.
Oh yeah, it's
Have I ever
same
showed you
vibes.
They talk the plane at the mouth.
Yeah, but they do like every trend, and there's the Vin Diesel one was the best. You remember the trend for family when like the Fast 10 or whatever came out?
Oh, and they go and they gets like down low and squats in front of it.
Yeah. So I can't remember what it was, but I haven't watched theirs recently.
Ryanair's been a pretty good airline. Honestly, we had a good experience this year. I think I liked them. Oh,
Did you see the video that just went viral of people just like turning up on a Ryanair flight?
To
No.
Ibiza?
Yeah.
I think it was from
Wait.
London to Ibiza.
Yeah.
Not the Andreas one. It's a different one.
No, it was in the summer though.
No, this was like a month ago.
No, that was
Not
the
even-
crazy Sunwing scandal, like
No,
Montrealers.
No, the Ryanair was a month ago. It's around the time we got back from Europe.
Was it?
I think I remember seeing it.
I know it's recently. It's since we've been back. So maybe it was right when we got back or something. Because this is it was a big thing.
Yeah. I
Like,
just saw a
they were
video of it
like,
today. I
going
was like,
nuts and partying.
Yeah,
whoa.
like cracking open bottles, and apparently it looked fun.
But
what ended up
okay,
happening?
Does anybody know what happens when you jump on, like when people collectively jump on a plane? Because they were jumping up and down, and I think I'm a terrible flyer. I would want to die.
I don't think
if I
it
was on
would.
the flight.
I don't know, but I don't think it would knock you.
Like,
out of
what
the
would
sky.
happen if like all 100 people on the flight were like, okay, 1, 2, 3, jump? Like, what the fuck
don't
would
think
happen?
it
I think it's
happen.
it's such a. If you think about what a plane
The
weighs in the
speed you're
big
moving
picture,
at, yeah, the speed
yeah,
you're
and
moving at.
the
It's probably
plane
like a
probably
drop in
weighs
the
I
bucket.
know like
More than
100
people.
tons.
So I don't think it's negligible. That's another thing. Dude, you get scared of turbulence like when on a plane?
Not as much, but I used to be the worst flyer in the world. Yeah.
You just said you were a bad flyer, and now you used to be.
Well, like,
So you're still kind of bad.
I still, if I haven't flown in a couple of weeks, I get that little like twinge of like, or that
Well, she
tinge
says a
of,
couple
like,
weeks, eh?
I don't know, because like, or if I'm like hungover and I get on a flight, like I'm just like
Oh, hungover's my
preparing.
favorite.
Oh,
I'll have a drink on the plane. I'll pass out.
I don't know. I just get horrible anxiety. Like when I'm hungover and I get on a flight, I'm like, oh, what can go wrong?
Sunday scaries. What are your worst flights you've ever taken to each of you?
Oh, I have a good one.
Go.
So I was flying from Amsterdam to Berlin, and I'd already taken the red eye from Toronto to Amsterdam. So it was a connecting flight, and there were 2 crazy storms going through. And like, I don't know if you guys saw online, like in April of last year, there was like planes like on TikTok, like there was a bunch of like videos of planes trying to land at Heathrow that were like this. And it was just like for a week, everybody was like Eunice this, Eunice that. It was during the storm of Eunice. And there was 2 back-to-back crazy storms with hurricanic winds, and like one had passed, but the other one was on its way. And we had this 2-hour quick little jaunt over from like Amsterdam to Berlin. The turbulence was so bad. The people behind me were like ill, and they were like, "We're gonna die, we're gonna die." Like the
Like
plane
out
is
loud?
going like this, and everybody's screaming, and I'm so tired that I'm just like, just take me.
It's not worth it
I was
anymore.
like, if this is the way I go out, then so be it. But everyone's like throwing up. It was like something out of a freaking Final Destination movie. And then we get on the ground. Finally, everyone's like, oh, and we're waiting for the luggage at baggage claim, and they're like, sorry, the winds are so high, we can't get your bags off the plane. So I was like, okay, so it was like safe enough to fly in that, but not to like,
That's terrible.
yeah.
The reason I had asked earlier, that's a pretty crazy story. I've never had turbulence that bad, but the reason I asked if you get scared of turbulence is I heard a statistic that I guess a fact that I never really knew. You know, they say a plane has never been downed by turbulence. Like,
Yes, I've heard that.
but everyone shits their pants when turbulence hits, and you hear babies screaming and grandmothers crying. But a plane's never gone down from turbulence.
Yeah. What was your
Didn't know
bad
that.
flight?
My worst one of recent memory was when I flew from Jaipur to Colombo, Jaipur, India, Colombo, Sri Lanka, and I stopped in Chennai, and I think I had food poisoning.
Oh no.
So I took an overnight flight from Jaipur to Chennai, which is like 4 or 5 hours. I was the only white guy on the plane. And honestly, very well, maybe the only one to, like, I don't know if anyone understood me. Like, I sat next to 2 old ladies. They were very nice when I sat down, but I was really feeling a bit queasy. It was like 9 o'clock at night, or maybe a little earlier, but get on the plane. I had the window seat. I was like, all right, I'm blushing up, like lean over and pass out. And like 2-3 hours into the flight, I woke up with this feeling in my stomach like I've never had, where I just knew I was about to puke. Like I could, and I look, and it was night now, so it's like 11 or 12, so everyone's asleep on the plane, lights are off, and I was like, oh shit. And I'm like, I try to tap the ladies, they wouldn't wake up, and then they wake up eventually, and I was like, I gotta, and they're like, okay. And they like put their head back down. I was like, no. I'm like, and I don't think they definitely didn't understand. So I just said, forget it. I stood up and stood on all the handrests, climbed out, jumped into the aisle. And the flight attendant like looked at me like, I guess could see something was wrong. So I ran to the front. I was like maybe 5 rows down, ran into the washroom, and I'll spare the visuals, but it was not good. Like it was out my mouth, not whatever. Yeah.
I'll spare the visuals, but it was out my
I
mouth.
want to make sure it was clear that like it's not like it wasn't the worst case scenario. Puking's not that bad.
Yeah.
And then anyways, I was like in the washroom for a while, like whatever, got back to my seat and managed to land the flight. Then I landed in Chennai and I had a 3-hour layover, and I could just tell that it was not good. And I drank some water and I was walking outside to get some air, and just like for the next 2 hours was like stuck outside puking. I think you had a similar experience recently. And then made it to Colombo, and I had something worse than food poisoning because I was then stuck in a hotel in Colombo for 2 days. That was my worst experience.
Awful.
And it was not just a flight, but that specific flight will always stick out to me. It was terrible, miserable.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Mine's basically almost the exact same things as George. Food
This
poisoning,
happened like a month ago.
Oh my God.
I'm usually a great flyer. I'll get on a plane, get my window seat. As soon as I eat, it's lights out. I'll either sleep or I'll be in and out of sleep for majority of the plane ride. I don't get up at all on a plane ever. So I put my headphones on, I watch a movie, whatever. This flight was possibly the worst day of my life. Like, honestly, that bad.
Wow.
I won't get into it, but just like, yeah, it was just...
Was it home from Portugal or to Portugal?
On the way home from Portugal.
Oh, man. Well, at least you were going home.
Yeah, so that night I got sick. The night leading up to this flight. Woke up in the morning, I'm like, oh, I feel all right. Like, chugged a bottle of water. I'm like, gotta rehydrate. We were in the Uber from the hotel to the airport, like 20 minutes. We get to the airport, it's just game over. I didn't even make it on the plane, just game over.
Oh my gosh.
It's exactly what you think. Yeah, it's like exactly that. I'm like, I can't eat anything or drink anything because I can't take a chance of getting on the plane feeling like this.
No.
So we're walking through security, and I can barely like move. I'm like deathly pale, and I'm just coming back from a 3-week Europe trip. I'm like super tan, but no, like disgusting pale. The lady at the desk when we were doing customs, she's like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, McDonald's. I eat bad McDonald's. I'm not feeling good." She's like, "Are you sure?" I was like, "Yeah, no, the McDonald's." Like knowing that I'm like visibly not okay.
Yeah.
Actually, the security, when they saw me outside the airport, the guy security comes up to me. He's like, "Are you okay?" I literally just looked at the girl I was traveling with. She's like, "Yeah, no, he's fine. Just needs a little bit of water." I was literally about to be like, "Do I look okay? You see what I just did to this poor wall? Do I look okay?"
Oh my God.
Anyways, so that plane, I couldn't get comfy. Like just baby's crying. I'm sweating. I'm cold. I'm hot. Like I even paid for the extra leg room to try and get a little bit of sleep, but no, just like probably top 5 worst day. No, number 1 worst day of my life, honestly.
Literally Bridesmaids. Like
way worse than that. Honestly, like,
Great fuck.
like worse than
What a
that.
great
It was
reference.
just terrible.
oh man.
Yeah. Anyways, so
Yeah, honestly, I'm flying tomorrow morning, so I'm hopefully not going whatever is good. But
Where are you off to tomorrow?
I got a conference in Chicago, so I'm off for a couple days.
Nice.
Great city. Pretty pumped. I haven't been there in a while.
Dope.
Yeah.
favorite city to visit?
London is definitely one of them. Love London. Love the people in London. Where else? I love New York. Sister's actually living in New York now. But yeah, those two come to mind right away. What about you guys?
I'm Ibiza. Yeah, it's my favorite place on earth.
Dope.
Ibiza, Barcelona, both of them.
Oh yeah, Barcelona.
Yeah, Barcelona's great.
Probably Athens is number 1 for me. And honestly, New York's up there. Maybe Miami, maybe Florida. Like maybe not Miami particularly, but like I like Florida a lot. But New York's very cool. I like New York a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
And then I guess we're kind of getting to that point. What's your favorite show or one show that really stands out that you played recently?
Show. Probably Rifflandia in Victoria, BC.
Where? Sorry.
There's a festival called Rifflandia in Victoria.
Okay.
It's a cool name, but I've never heard of it.
Rifflandia. So Lord played there this year. Dylan Francis played there this year. It was like this.
Wow.
Victoria is such a beautiful part of Vancouver Island. And it was the last show of our tour. And like, I always get nervous because I was just like, I really hope that this is good for like the whole crew and for everyone, because it's like the last one that we're gonna do, and it did not disappoint. Like the crowd was amazing, the island was beautiful, we got great weather, and so that's the one that stood out the most.
That's awesome.
And Ottawa Pride this year was amazing.
Oh, very
Okay.
cool.
Very, very cool show.
Are you, so I know you said the drag race, Ottawa Pride. Do you do a lot of stuff with the LGBTQ plus community?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
How, like, did that just happen organically, or did you work towards it? How does it work?
Well, I think that recently, since coming out, like I've gotten a lot of support from the community, and I've always been super involved, and
Cool.
yeah, it's just kind of worked out, and I love it.
Very cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
I have
Awesome.
one.
Go.
I have a last question. Dream artist to collaborate with.
If on the DJ side or the art, well, I guess that they're all
Anybody, any
artists, but probably Disclosure. Big Disclosure fan, big Duke Dumont fan. Who else? That's such a great question. Every time somebody asks me, I'm completely stumped because it changes. I love Rufus Du Sol. I love
Talking Ricky
Tovlo.
language.
I
Yeah?
want to see them this weekend.
Wait, what? Rufus?
Red Rocks.
You're going to Red Rocks to see Rufus Du Sol.
Yeah. So also Danny, the girl who manages our podcast, me and her randomly I said I wanted to go. It's my dream venue. So just
Same.
like go see.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's not Bell Center.
Well, no, to
disappointed
perform
when you
at,
said
but to
that.
go to
No.
is Red Rocks.
Yeah, I've been dying to go forever, and I think this is probably the last chance we'll ever get to see like Rufus play at Red Rocks. I think this is their third or fourth time playing there. So
Insane.
I know they did like 2017, 2019. Anyways, I was like, they'll probably never be small enough to play there ever again, because now they're blowing
Huge.
up mass. Yeah, so
Yeah.
they're doing back-to-back nights, so we're going. We might even do 2 nights.
It's a show to do 2 nights
Yeah.
for. Yeah.
Did you go to the show in Toronto?
I didn't. I missed it. And I was of course, like every basic bitch, I was like, that's the one show that I'm super pissed that I missed when COVID hit, because I had my tickets. But I didn't get to see them the last time because I was traveling. But that is one heck of a show.
Yeah,
like I've been like obsessively watching all of the footage. And so you're gonna have a great time.
Did you know that there's a dinosaur trail at the Red Rocks?
No, there isn't.
Yeah,
I
there
don't
is.
know much about it, but they told me that there's a
Stegosaurus.
dinosaur trail with old like footprints of dinosaurs and shit.
That's unreal.
Yeah.
Are you gonna walk the dinosaur trail? Amazing.
We're there for literally 30 hours. So we go for a hike, dinosaur trail.
30 hours?
30 hours.
You go
If we don't-
Friday into Sunday?
No, if we don't, no, literally Saturday morning to Sunday. We arrive at 10 and we leave at 4.
You're
So we
the
let,
7 a.m. one on.
we leave at 8 a.m.
Okay.
Toronto time. We get there at 10 Colorado time, or 10:30, and then we leave the next day at 4:30. So we're literally in Colorado for 30 hours.
wow.
If we don't stay for the second show, we said if we get free tickets to one of the 2 shows, we'll stay.
yeah.
So fingers crossed. But yeah, it's my dream venue, dream artist, I guess. So.
Yeah. Wow. You're gonna have such a good time. It's
We
gonna be
Good for you,
great.
pal.
Yeah.
I guess on that note, Rev, thanks for joining us. This was awesome. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much for having me. This was awesome. I'm sorry that we spoke about sex, drugs, and politics
No,
today.
it's okay. We kind of almost did.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. Wow.
If people want to find out more about you, your music, touring, songs, where can they go? How can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram, on TikTok, and on Twitter at RevMTL, REVEMTL.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome. And if you made it to the end of this, we appreciate you. Give Rev a follow
Thanks. for
and share
sticking
this with
around.
your friends. Other than that, signing off, pals. Bye-bye.